Strange earth changes in 48 hours. You want to listen closely because it could be hitting an area close to you. We got maps. We're going to cover all of what's happening currently. Something strange is happening to Earth's magnetic field. It could spell doom for satellite scientists warn, but it's more than that. As we look at the map here, we're going to get into all the upcoming scenarios. At the same time, they are delaying Washington coast tsunami warnings. Wrong time to be doing that, don't you think? We have some more seismic activity hitting California, and even on the East Coast, we've seen New Hampshire get hit with one today. But as all that's going on, I found this strange video of a volcano that when I look at it, it looks like to me, I can see two red beady eyes. And I was just like, what do y'all think about this as the shift is happening right now? They found strange volcanic goo inside these volcanoes with life underneath the Mariana Trench I talked about yesterday. But this looks like red eyes staring at me. What does it look like to you? I was just saying, like, am I the only one seeing this here? I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all are aware of this stuff like this and the spiritual nature of everything that's happening all around us. But these eruptions here, this was one in Italy, one that the professor said, look, you need to watch this one because when the magma starts to shift in these locations, you can tell what's going on here. And let's get down into all the situations here that's currently taking place for you to know in the next 48 hours and also tie in some other pieces of information we need to. So they gave out an alert. They tried to say today that we may be looking at blackouts triggering, but I didn't see anything happening today. But if I'm wrong, let me know in the comment section right now if you experienced that. But each state, I have the names of it. I even have projection of areas where is human induced activity. And also the guy who was looking at the anomalies who can't come on, he told me he couldn't because of situations with his health. He's 75 years old, but I'll get back to what I'm talking about. Power grid warning issued for 11 states, November 11th, 2025. This was reported, but this is for tomorrow for the CME that's coming in, the mass ejection on the November 12th. So if you've been feeling headaches and stuff like that, which that's been happening here in the household I'm in with my woman, let me know in the chat because a lot of people are feeling these effects here and it's heavily weighing on them. Need to get a little bit more sleep, need to just relax, kick back a little bit more, trying to eat like sugary foods, alcohol, all this other stuff is not going to be good during these moments. These are the stakes though right here, everybody. So NOAA issued a forecast on Tuesday saying a geomagnetic storm the strength of a category G4 will cause issues with electrical grids for poleward of the 45th parallel. States north of the latitude, including Oregon, Idaho, Montana, South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. So these are all the areas that you need to be looking for, maybe having some backup power situations going, some candles going just in case, you start to see some of these blackouts occur. But it's not just going to be happening on the 12th. We're going to have it move into the 11th to the 13th. And their expectations on that day is going to be moderate to fair confidence of the second CME. And it's going to be some technical infrastructure glitches and stuff like that too. That's going to be a G3 though. That's going to be following the one that's supposed to be a G4. So checking everything that you got and getting everything prepared just beforehand is going to make a lot of sense why all this is going down. And let's get into this piece right here. Because in Japan, this expert issued a warning providing location data. There hasn't been an earthquake in 450 years. Energy has accumulated. This was in one zone. And what he's saying is exactly what I was saying. He's saying that it's a magma shift. He said the earthquakes in the area that they're in are not caused by a fault line, but by magma. In response to the question whether major earthquakes is expected, I do not expect very large earthquakes. It could be at least most 5 in magnitude. There have been above 4 in the last couple of days, but they are gradually decreasing. For now, I do expect major earthquakes. The earthquakes are caused by the movement of magma, like on the island in Santorini in Greece. So again, this magma is shifting, it is moving. Let's get you into some of the mapped out zones of when they talk about something strange is happening to the magnetic field, because we told you the areas, but there's even more areas that we need to mention right now. So this growing weak spot surrounding the Earth is, they're talking about how it could make satellites malfunction and we could undergo blackout. Scientists are warning in this new study. But if we look on the screen right here, these are the typical areas here where the weak spot is growing at. And you can see that towards these areas, and then they're talking about how Canada as well is going to be in the pathway of this. Let's give you the read of this. Thanks to swarm data, we can see one of the areas moving westward over Africa, which contributes to the weakening of the South Atlantic anomaly in this region, he said. Latest satellite data suggests the magnetic field over Siberia has strengthened while it has weakened over Canada. So if it's weakening over Canada, we're going to map out what's happening over Canada as well. So if you're from Canada, you're tuning in and you're close to Vancouver, even Washington, that's close to the Canada area, Pacific Northwest, give us what's happening over Canada right now. And lately in the chat right now, are you experiencing any frequency feelings right now? Are you experiencing any weird smells coming from your area? Because a lot of volcanic magma activity is going to be moving during these times as well. We talked about this, and let's get to the guy who we said last time it was like 72 hours before it happened. That was earlier in the week. I did a video where he said it was 100% chance that a 6.0 would hit, and it actually did. It hit Japan. So I asked him to come on here, and unfortunately, I couldn't get him to come on. He said, "I'm sorry, I must decline. I am 75 years old and I'm declining health. My activities are quite limited." I said, "Okay, I understand. I had to try because you're doing great work. I appreciate you. We'll continue to present your work." And so I understand, it was even a blessing to even get the professor on, because he had a neurological, disorder, and, that got in the way of him actually coming on a couple other times. So I just appreciate the people who do. So let's look into his work now, because he's let out a new projection as of what's going to be going on. 3 hours ago, here comes solar protons right on the heels of a solar X-ray from X51 flare we had earlier. Comes mighty stream of solar protons. He says, "So far, I'm not seeing above M4 quakes. However, the global earthquake rate blue curve is rising. If your magnetometer is reacting like a station," he says, "take caution for several hours. The high alerts are following the sun on its westward journey in Guam and the Pacific." So I'm going to let you see what he's talking about. So if you look at this and you see in your area, the magnetic anomalies are raising, you need to take precaution here. So right here, you can see incoming energy on the magnetic anomaly. You can see right there, the moon, the Venus, they're at like 90 degrees right here. And so now we're going to take you into the map where the actual areas that he's looking at these projections over the next 24, basically 48 hours. And the projection is kind of in that zone next to where, we just had situations happen. Actually, it's kind of close to Florida, but the lowest tip of Florida, some in Mexico, and then it looks like some is over there next to where Africa. All these zones are projected. So the mid-Atlantic ridge off the East Coast could get hit too. We'll be looking for that. And that's actually where a new subduction zone could be created. That's going to be something that we're going to be watching. And it's not, we're saying that it's going to be happening over the weekend, but we're saying that this is going to be something that we're heavily monitoring as well. Somebody says they're spraying like mad over here in GA. Yeah, I guess the spraying has been done up. Actually, my woman was just telling me today they sprayed a lot over here. Another quick question. I looked at something, I looked at the earthquake seismic activity because I seen nothing. But from people here in the comments, you were telling me Tucson, Arizona got a lot of shaking going on. And I looked, there was no information on that. That's strange. And I wanted to know a little bit more about that, because that area is like literally not that far away from where I'm at. So if you have been experiencing Arizona shaking, California shaking, with Washington with no reports, remember we said rumblings in the middle of the night with no earthquakes at all is what we're going to be looking at over the next course of days. I need to know what is going on in your areas. Doesn't matter where you at. Let me know. All right. So you know how crazy it's getting right now. We got in Hawaii with the whole magma shift. This is right next to that zone. If I go off for a second, I'll be right back. I just feel like that moment might come right now. But right in Hawaii, where all the magma is shifting at, we have a scenario where they're calling something a volnado. So this is basically the mixture of a tornado. This just happened within hours. It's a mixture of a tornado next to, like, in a volcano. Cell phones show the volcano producing a fountain-like lava eruption with a twister-like plume of ash visible nearby. Check this video out. Yeah, like we got volnadoes going on now. Look outside, bro. There's a volnado out there, and the volnado has currently taken out massive infrastructures here, and this is breaking right now, and the volcano is really being destructive. The only forces we can right now really equate to this is that there's a government shutdown, and without the government, we're gonna have volcanoes. I mean, I could see just scenarios where everything has to be blamed on government shutdowns, but to have a volcano is really some wild stuff. I'm gonna be right back if this goes off. Don't go anywhere though, because I'm telling you, it's coming. But in the second half of all this that we're putting up right now, we're here to talk about Oregon. The volcanoes everybody talking about. Okay, so we need to talk about Oregon. They're not only they are saying, oh well, tsunami warning systems are not going to have, they're going to be delayed. You just ain't going to see it. So you need to tune in here, hit the subscribe button if you're new. And again, if you haven't seen that video yesterday, we're going to talk a little bit more about that video yesterday. But it's been delayed. Let's look at what's been said though, and with all the sketchiness going on, let's read this. Tsunami warnings that could affect Washington coast may now take longer to reach the public. Wow, thank you. You're just not going to help us. Basically, that's what you're saying. Alaska State seismologist Michael West told KRO, and it's not the seismologist's fault. It's the contract wasn't renewed as well. This is what he says, I don't want for one moment to suggest that warnings are going dark, West said. The National Tsunami Warning Center is run by outstanding people working with a lot. All right, we back. Yeah, we knew that was coming. Okay, so again, in Oregon, they are also moving in, and we can take you into these maps they're pulling out now. So they had that said, and then I got the other maps too that you haven't even seen yet. Before we get to that though, I'm gonna show you one other wild thing just to interruption. Remember we talked about the creatures, volcano, the ancient primordial life. Look at this right here. What does that look like? This was an X-class solar flare. What does that look like? Not even gonna say what I think it looks like, but I know exactly what I think it looks like. So we got eyes and volcanoes we can see now, and now we got this showing up in the atmosphere. I'm just waiting for the first comment right now to tell me what exactly they see in this. What exactly do you see? Tell me. Oh, appreciate that $50 super chat. Simmer vinegar to get rid of chemtrails, she says, to help people out. Looks like King Kong. That's exactly what I was saying. It looks like freaking King Kong. The solar flares is gleaming in King Kong. So, and then we're just talking about how the life is coming up out of the ground. And we're going to talk about a little bit more that why is it looking like King Kong in the magnetic field? I'm going to pull out these other maps right now because there's some maps that's going to tell you what's the human induced behavior going on. So it's getting wild out here. You know, we got King Kong in the sky. We got red beady eyeballs in these volcanoes. And again, for people who just tune in, they're like, what you talking about, red beady eyes? King Kong, red beady eyes in volcanoes. Shifting, seismic shift. Here we go. Boom, boom. And it's like he's peering from inside the mountains on a glorious day when the ash fall and the lava spews and the magma shifts in the world. There was not a single squirrel to be seen, but for real, there was a time that the light in the skies would gleam forever and ever. All right, let's get back into the serious stuff right here. So why stable ground isn't always safe from earthquakes. So this I was kind of a little shocked about this one, but not so much after I looked deep into it, and I'm going to give you the maps. With all the stuff we're seeing right now, this map tells you the zone. So it's marked. Every location, doesn't matter where you're in the world, you're going to see this right now. And I'm going to give you a close zoom so we can look at all parts of the world right here. So we got the injection induced earthquakes, extraction induced earthquakes. So now we have the reasoning behind why are these quakes happening. So let's get closer. So, okay, let me write this really quick because it's an upside down triangle. And that's the injection induced. All right, and then the extraction induced. But let me tell you, these are not where normal earthquakes happen. That's why I'm showing you this right now. Extraction induced. All right, so let's get closer in right now. Let's lock in. All right, so if you're like in that West Coast area or United States in general, let's not say West Coast. You could see right there between Washington and like Canada, Vancouver area, that there's an upside down triangle. That's injection induced earthquakes. The circles are where the normal ones occur. Let's go back to make sure we're getting that on point. Oh, so never mind. The circles, it says both unclear reason. These were researchers who went out and actually mapped out all these zones. Remember, I was telling you people was going to start looking into where these earthquakes was happening and find out if it was human induced activity. So we can see all along the West Coast human induced activity, and then injections a lot in the East Coast and in Maine area in all through the United States. We can see that. Now, if we were to come over here towards like Asia, Japan, like Middle East areas, you can see a lot of the same things happening as well. So really, natural earthquakes, it goes into the green zone areas and then some of the yellow areas. I'm about to say Yellowstone, but the yellow zone, not Yellowstone. Yeah, so all these yellow areas you can see where normal earthquakes occur, and then come the green looking areas as well. So we can see now clearly that there is some inducing going on here. And I want to get back to the situation that before we got cut off that I was trying to tell you about. All right. So yes, we have the incoming grid warnings. We told you the 11 states. If you didn't see that, that'll be in the front end of the video, so you can check that out. Right now, I'm pulling up something else though for you because when it crashes, then we got to go back into the whole situation. So as we see all this different stuff in the atmosphere, I'm going to show you something really quick. All right. So as we see all this in the atmosphere, yes, seismic centers at the same time being shut down is another thing that I feel that maybe during this time they shut it down because the activity gonna get so increased that they just won't want to report on it as much because it's just like the professor said, they're just trying not to cause a panic, right? But when we get basically signs of different life showing up that's coming out of volcanoes, it's just kind of telling us that we're moving into a different age. And again, could be the Leviathan. We don't know at this point. And I'm going to pull up this though in Oregon though, because this is another important piece that I was supposed to bring up to you before it crashed out. This is the other piece right here. So not only in Oregon are they saying that, well, we're going to delay your warnings. They put this out. It says seismic shift series on Central Oregon role in tsunami preparedness, November 1st, 2025. So what they did here is coming November 13th. It says preparing on the coast. Reporter Claire Elmer heads to the coast to showcase how coastal community researchers and emergency managers are working to prepare for the inevitable, from evacuation routes to education campaigns. So this is happening within that 24, 48-hour period. And then after that, Spencer Sachs examines how a major tsunami would ripple far beyond the coast, affecting Central Oregon through mass evacuations, transportation challenges, strain on infrastructure. His report explores the logistics of sheltering thousands of displaced residents and visitors. Y'all think they're doing all that by coincidence? Because here's how it all went down. It was November, and the Alaska seismologists and then UAF news came out and said mid-November we're shutting down stations, 9 of them. One just happens to be where the most tsunami risk zones is. Now they're saying we can't coordinate that to Oregon. What's going to be next? California going to say, oh, we ain't going to do it either. I think that's going to be the ripple effect that we continue to hear. And then right after that, they have to use this seismic shift preparedness coming on Oregon coast right as all this happens back to back. Seems very suspectable. Let's read about what's going to happen in 24, 48 hours with the CMEs. I'm going to check some of the comments here. Coronal mass ejection. So Tuesday, November 11th. The CME, November 10th, anticipated to arrive shortly afterward. Wednesday, November 12th. November 12th. So effects is going to be, general public should consider, it says visiting the webpage. Okay. Some people think blue beam going to be happening during the time. I don't know why that would be happening. Mount Hood, somebody says in the comment section, what's going on at Mount Hood? Woke up and I ached from head to toe, felt cold, all tired. Save Earth says, yeah, actually, a lot of people been feeling that. And this energy that's coming in right now, definitely the effects usually affects people that's highly sensitive, people with neurological disorders, also people that's pregnant, also, and obviously only women can be pregnant, but I just had to say that. The other people is people with the heart issues as well that can be affected. That's why it's going to be good to just take the deep breaths, get some rest, relax, not get overstressed about all these events as well. It's going to be important. Quick says nothing is happening. I'm speculating. Oh yeah, well it's funny because the 72-hour thing. It was somebody who said the exact same thing. Hopefully there's no blackouts though. Hopefully there's not. But yeah, all the states are mentioned here. And yeah, they said that last time, but all the stuff we were talking about, as far as earthquakes, it all basically happened because the researcher that we're looking into, he actually looks into magnetic anomalies. So, and I've seen multiple times that he was right on these events. So we're going to definitely keep tuning in to him as all these activities start to increase. Dutch and Son just posted, somebody says, definitely keep watching Dutchinson because again, he's predicting earthquakes. I'm hearing a lot. I don't really have time to watch Dutchinson or watch Silky on the Pulse, or I mean, I can probably watch people for like a minute or something, and then I'm done because I have to do so much research on my own. But I do know that they're doing the great work, so definitely put another log in the wood stove, so I'm good. There you go. Beans and Frank says he's ready. He's getting his power and his wood anyway. All that stuff prepared. That's what everybody should be doing. Power grid is fine. Guess I'm working tomorrow, Mystery Machine says. Ain't nothing like having a day skipping work, huh? But you are working, so you ain't skipping work. Another person says, we're talking about Mount St. Helens. I said that we had seen a poof a bit here and there, but if we see Hood pop off, it's big troubles. Do you live next to Mount Hood? Let everybody know. And that's on the West Coast, everybody. who don't know, that's in the Cascade Mountain Range, volcano range. Now they just say Cascade, and it's like, oh, well, it's not just mountains, it's volcanoes. Why can't we just say that sometimes? I guess it's to keep everybody calm. Just stay as a calm. Don't Willis. Yeah, you shouldn't worry though. But I'm taking you into something else right now. This Volnado stuff, it's got me tripping out. But here's the other situation here. Let's see. All right, so the weakening over Canada, which we mentioned, but however, it's just other details that people need to see. Okay, so the areas where the weakening is not just over Canada, but here's something that was interesting that happened. The birds was migrating over there in a weird pattern. And this was recorded by behavioral bird analysis people who do the research. They was migrating to Canada when the other birds was going downward. And that was interesting to me because magnetically they're connected to what's happening. So they're going to gravitate, I guess, to the safer zone. So if they feel like if it's safer in Canada at that time, they're going to go there. And then a lot of them went down towards like Mexico area for a little bit too. This is on bird track, live bird tracking where you can track all the birds at any given moment. So if anything pop off, y'all, I'm gonna first tap into that bird feed for y'all, and then we're gonna see what the bird's doing. And I'm like, look, y'all, the birds didn't hit this way. We need to go that way because they're the first line warning navigation system. Even yourself, you can just tap into Birdcast. Let me see something. I'm gonna confirm it for you. It's showing you live movements. I should even pull it up right now. Birdcast live migration map. Yeah, that's the exact name. All right, so yeah, if you feel like something gonna happen. All right, I'm back. So here it is right here, y'all. Look, live bird migration. And as far as right now, it's just basically November 11th, and they're just actively going across. Is pretty much everything is looking like it's normal right now. Again, once we see it start to change a little bit, though, that's when we'll know. So this is going to be one of our warning systems. Like we're going to be on top of it. Don't worry. Again, like I said, if I'm not here in time, you tap into it. So somebody says, yes, watch the birds and animals because they know first. What's your birds and animals been saying? What's been going on with them lately? My dog is always barking. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, so he's over. And here's the other situation here. The satellites are connected to the phone. So here's what I want to say about the phones. If during this power outage, magnetic storm outage situation, if you don't have a phone that has it's like connected to satellites, mine is. There's a specific thing it says on there when you send a message. And in order for me to find that out, I actually need to do something really quick so I can actually pull this up. I need to see what it's going to say. So give me a second. All right, just a second. Let's see if I can find out. Okay, so when you send a message, it's not even showing it this time. When you send a message, though, here's the thing. Like, it has this lock on there. So there's a lock on the phone. And it says something specific, meaning that you have the ability to send messages without your phone being on. And only certain people get it. I know from Android to Android it happens. And even from iPhone to Android it happens as well. I'm trying to remember the specific name of this. So if the satellites were hit, though, it wouldn't be able to send. But all satellites won't be down. That's the case. It's like they're just saying, like, oh, the satellite's going to be down, but not all of them. And in my case, this is just a prepping type of scenario for us right now, even though some people are not even going to experience outages tomorrow. It's just going to be the reality. But if you do, you just want to know, all right, can I contact family members in case this is fully down? You can do that with just certain like newer Androids past like, I guess, 15, I think like 12, 15 and stuff like that. So I have the 21, and you can get them for cheap as well. You don't even spend like $700 for a phone. I'm not spending $700 for a phone. It's insane. Just I'll go on Amazon or whatever, and then I'll find it for like 100 and something bucks, and then I'll just use that. And actually, I'm actually streaming from that phone right now. So yeah, this is going to be some of the important details to take notice of. And let us know specifically if you're experiencing anything currently as we speak. So as far as all the other details go, right now, drop your state in the comment section and let me know what is the current situation where you're at, because we're a lifetime community. Ham is proving a working crisis with no power. That's good. I have that. A lot of people don't know how to tune into the bands, the frequencies, and how to talk to the local people in the area. So if you did miss yesterday's video, though, I'm telling you, it's a strange volcanic goo rising beneath the ocean. It's these weird, strange sounds coming in, like, I don't know how to make the noise that good, but I'm just saying, like, when you watch the beginning of the video, it's weird. And then after that, we go deeper into what's going on there. And then we connect some more dots. So I'm going to drop that really quick. I'm going to drop that in the live chat. It's not even letting me open it right now. All right, here it is. Because I know a lot of you don't get the notifications. Strange volcanic goo rising beneath the ocean as quake strikes. And you can just click the link in the live chat. And if it's over, then you can look down and click the channel icon, JWTV, and just see it as the previous video. And then check a lot of the other videos in the channel, because if all 329 and you go and then just watch next video right after this, it helps this stream to get pushed further so other people can see it and get these alerts. And also dropping a comment as well helps. So thank you all for tuning in. Thanks for the support. If you look in the description, you can donate to Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo to help JWTV through the crisis. Thanks for tuning in.